Andy, fixtures have been announced. We're officially back on the road. The road to Rugby League returned to the recreation ground. It's took a lot, especially behind the scenes. You know, obviously COVID's been the massive factor. You know, obviously why we haven't played, and it'll be over 12 months since we do get back underway. You know, we've seen the pictures across social media, especially from the vice presidents with, you know, Des being involved. But what has it taken in order to these lads, not just to get back playing, but even training?
It's like trying to climb a Mount Everest with no gear. You know, it's been a big task, very big task. You know, all the rules that we've got to follow by the RFL and what they put in, you know, and what they want in place, because obviously there's 3 T's we had to go through. The first one was getting the lads back to training. That was the biggest thing we had to go through. So there was all the risk assessments and where they were going to play, where they were going to train. We had to get risk assessments from them areas. So there was a lot of work in that background just to get them back to training. And fortunately, you know, we got through it, and we got the lads back on the 1st of December. I mean, our team at the moment is Kerry Blacklock's our lead. And I mean, she has done an absolute fantastic job. We just couldn't do it without her. I mean, she's doing it on her own. She's doing it while she's working. She obviously has a family as well. I'm part of the Covid team, so I'm doing my stuff in the background. So it has been long nights, long days, but we got there. And now the next stage we're going to is we're having to play behind closed doors, unfortunately, which, you know, isn't the best thing at the moment, because we would like the fans back in, but we are where we are. So we're working towards that now, and that's more work. So you have to do risk assessments for all that, management plan. You've got to do risk assessments for the other teams coming. You've got to have things in place for them. So there's a lot of things going on at this stage as well for the second stage, just to get us to play Dewsbury in the cup. Yeah. You know, but we will get there. We will get there.
As you say, there's a lot of work, and you've mentioned sort of things there of the work that sort of got in. Obviously, as soon as the season was curtailed, as it was back in June or July, it was sort of announced that we weren't going to be playing again in 2020.
Yeah.
Attention would have switched obviously immediately to 2021. But when did that process really begin? What details were you given of, you know, when we're looking for X date for the start date? You know, when did that process really begin looking forward to 2021?
It started in October. Yeah. We you know, even before we went back, we thought about going back to training, because we didn't want to be behind the 8 ball, because we knew there was a lot of work to do. We sit hours on end through team meetings, through teams, talking to the RFL, going through what their procedure, what they want, what they need, you know, what we have to do. So we didn't want to be behind, like I said, behind the 8 ball. So we wanted to be ahead, everything in place. So when the time came that for the new season, what was going to happen, were we going to be playing behind closed doors, were we not? But we have everything in place, so it's not a rush. So we've got there. All our stuff's gone in for behind closed doors. So we're just waiting for the RFL to sign off on that. So it's just time. It's just a lot of time and effort. A lot of time and effort.
And I suppose, like you say, it's a lot of time and effort when the sort of club that we are, that director-wise and staff-wise, it's mainly volunteers. Yeah. There's not many full-time paid staff within the club. So to be able to give that man hours and effort, it's sacrifices, especially not with, you know, after your day job, you're coming down at. You mentioned you're coming down for training nights. You're coming down at 3 o'clock and not leaving till after 9. So the effort that the man hours, not just purely paperwork, but the man hours that having to go in as well. It is a big sacrifice for those that are involved.
It is, yeah, because you know, we've got families as well. You know, and Kerry as well. She's got a full-time job, which is stressful enough that she does, because she deals with all this COVID stuff with the job that she does. So yeah, it's a lot of man hours, but we love the club. You know, and that's why we do it. You know, yes, we're not Leeds, we're not St Helens, we're not Widnes, we're not Bradford. We can't just go out there and employ people to do all this COVID stuff. So we you know, when it all came out, I just took as they say, the bull behind the horns and set it out. Got the team that I thought was best to go forward with this, and it's working great. You know, and like you say, I'll reiterate again. I can't thank Kerry Blacklock enough for the time and effort that she puts in, on top of her other stuff. And
we've seen now, obviously, the lads are back in training. Vastly different from what they will have been used to as well. The procedures are in place to just be able to go training, and you know, especially if, you know, when you've got the likes of the lads that obviously we're not a totally local based squad. You've got lads that are travelling, so you've got to take that into factors, and the environments they're coming from there as well. So there's that number of different aspects you've got to worry about before the even lads can train.
Yeah, it's you've got to educate them as well, because we're getting educated. It's a learning curve for us. So we've had to teach them and learn them what they can and can't do, and what you know, what they're allowed to do and what they're allowed to do. You know, we do lateral flow testings now. We've been trained up on that. So me, Kerry, and that, and we've got a couple of other volunteers that are going to come now and help us out. Yeah. So you know, you're starting that on a Wednesday. You're starting that at 4:30. You know, you finish that for just before training starts at 6:30. Then I'll go to training, and because part of the structure the RFL wants, and the COVID officer is going to be training just to oversee and watch for different things, how the training, make sure they're adhering to the training. You know, you've got to video the training now just for archive. If you know the RFL want to ask for it, they can. So yeah, you know, you might be here till 9:30 at night, you know, 9:30 at night, but you know that it just comes with the territory, because if we don't, then we wouldn't be playing, and that's what we want to do. The fans have, you know, are itching to get back in, and we want that to happen, and you know, so it's a sacrifice you make for the good of the club to get us back playing, and that's the most important thing.
You mentioned the fans are itching. It's not only the fans, you know, of course, yourself and anyone that's on this board of directors are a fan. You know, the last 12 months will have been strange. You know, we're all used to, you know, in whatever role we do within the club, we're all used to being there on a Sunday, or, you know, as you mentioned, for training throughout the weeks, and etc. So, you know, to have that 12 months, you know, it's an itch that really needs to be scratched. But what more work is having to be done now to enable them fans to be able to scratch that itch and get back down to the recreation?
We've got to get through. We've got level 1 now, which has allowed us to go to level 2, which is behind closed doors. Yeah. We've got to have that in place, so we couldn't really just say, no, we don't want to play, because obviously playing behind closed doors, you're not making any money. No. And that's the biggest thing as well. So we made that decision to do that, because then it allows us, once we've got that in level 2, then we can go to level 3, which is getting the fans back. Yeah. So then that's another process we've got to go through, another lot of time to go through, because you've got to do the risk assessments, you've got to do you know, there's lots of things for each stage, but they've all got to stack up to allow us to get back to get fans back in the ground.
I mean, and many people may ask about timescales, and if you want to give one, that's absolutely fine, but I'm not going to put any pressure on. I mean, obviously, all does depend on, obviously, the government restrictions there as well, because fans are not allowed in any sport at the moment.
No.
So, obviously, we've got to wait for restrictions on that. Have you got a timescale in your mind? Have you been given any timescales by the RFL at all in terms of this is maybe a date we're looking for, or is it all unfortunately just up in the air at the moment?
It's all up in the air. Yeah. To be honest, it won't be an RFL decision, it'll be a government decision. Okay. So until they make that call, we're just going to have to play by ear, and just, you know, and when that decision is made, then that's the next process to go through. Get players, get fans back, and hope, you know, get back watching with your team that I think that we've accumulated is one of our best, especially when I've seen them train.
I mean, obviously we fully focused on COVID, but I mean we'll discuss about the squad, and obviously the squad that we've brought in. As you've said, you've seen them train. You're one of the few that from a non-staff point of view that has seen them train and seen them come together. A lot of new faces, some returning faces as well. Obviously we've got the likes of Lachlan, Ryan King, Nick Williams coming from Australia and New Zealand. We've got the likes of Greg returning to the squad, which I think was a major coup for the club.
Yes, very major.
But like I said, the squad is, and I think we can easily say it would be stronger than last year's squad.
Yes.
Not just in terms of quality, but the quantity as well.
Yeah.
And I think obviously the board of directors, as yourself, have taken that decision that we needed a bit more quantity because these lads haven't played rugby league for 12 months.
No.
You don't know how their bodies are going to react. So obviously, training wise, they're having to see with that there. But what are you saying there? You're excited from what you're seeing there, at least on the training field, what this squad can do next season.
Yeah, what I've seen obviously since we got back to training and that, you can see the hunger. Yeah. You can see the hunger in them. They're gelling as a team quickly, which I thought was with the new lads coming in and different ones coming in, and I've been very, very impressed with the way training's going. So I think we will be a force this season coming.
Still going to be tough. Championship's a tough division as it is. You've got the likes of Featherstone and Halifax and Bradford and the likes of Widnes, who will also, they'll be wanting to push their place for Super League. But even, you can't rule out the likes of Dewsbury and Batley and Sheffield and Swinters and Oldham and Newcastle. I've just kind of rhymed off everyone because the Championship is probably the toughest division to play in. Obviously, Super League is the elite. Yeah. But in terms of the competition, because there's that variety with the clubs there as well, between your likes of your Featherstone and those who are full-time, and the likes of ourselves who are a part-time club. And the Championship on its day it's tough, just because of them factors. Yeah,
it is. And, it's also tough as well with the locations where you've got to go, because obviously with COVID as well, when we're travelling away, we're having to do risk assessment, we're having to do stuff for the bus, how many can go on the bus, obviously our fans down, our players down the way, Chris and stuff like that, they'll just travel across. So the things we've got to put in place to let the club where you're going to there come in. And I mean that's another point I've got, which is great, because we've got Chris and Greg that have come on board, which is helping us massively going forward for lateral flow testing, because we've trained them now and they can test each other down there. Right. So because it would mean us as COVID officers travelling down and testing them, then going to the game. Yeah. So there's little things like that that we're tweaking and helping us out. And I mean, that's great from players, they put their hand, we've asked them and they've said, no problem, we'll do it. And it helps us big, because we've got 5 or 6 players that travel. So that's a massive, massive help to us.
You like say, and that sort of the challenge that's really only faced with clubs like ourselves, outliers. So maybe clubs like ourselves, such as Whiteham and Worthington, and maybe you look at further down south of London and West Wales, where they've got players coming from right around the country as ourselves. So it's different challenges for different clubs. But one final question is, how excited are you to not only to get the rugby back, but to get the fans back down here?
Oh, it's hard to explain. It really is, because you're there. It's like you're at the last furlong, and you just want to get that last inch out of it and get over the line. And I honestly cannot wait, and I can't wait for the fans. It's for the fans, and that's why we do it. The fans have missed out on a lot over the last 12 months. It's been hard, and we just want to get them back in and watch an exciting team go forward, and with the new players. So, albeit we'll be there very shortly. Dewsbury.
And your time's much appreciated. Like I say, you're doing a lot of work at the moment, so to give up this 15 minutes, it's much appreciated. Thank you very much. Continue the good work behind the scenes, and hopefully we'll see this squad sooner rather than later.
Cheers, Jordan.